would have had I would have made my free throws. I would have had my career high.
Hunter, you got your KU career high, and you seem really fired up. How would you describe your game?
It was a very good win versus a tough opponent on the road. My teammates really found me in good positions, especially that pass late with Juan. He had two really good assists to me, so my teammates did a really good job of finding me close to the basket. I think I did a good job of staying close to the basket.
You hit twice from the mid-range pretty early. What did that kind of do for your confidence on offense, and how good was it to start out that way?
It was a big thing. We really haven't started off games pretty well, and me either. So just me kind of personally getting those first two got my confidence up, and then I lost it a little bit, but got it back when it mattered.
You guys led by 2 with 3 something and change left, and a lot of positions. And there are a lot of times you've been in that position this year where kind of the tougher team wins down the stretch. What did you do to finish it out?
I mean, we made that game way harder for ourselves than it really needed to be, but we kind of just had to hanker down and not worry about all the bonehead plays that each one of us made, especially me, and just try to get defensive rebounds and try to get some big stops.
How important was it for you guys to get off to that 14-4 lead on the road?
It's super important. That's kind of been, the telltale of how the game is going to go. Especially in Utah, we came out and got down 8-0 both times, and that's just so hard on the road because teams are going to play really good, and when you give them an 8-point advantage like that to start the game, it's super hard. So we did a really good job of putting ourselves in good position by going out to an early lead, and I think that really sparked us in the first half and was able to kind of weather us through their runs and stuff like that.
You got another steal and layup. Ryland said the other day the coach told you he expects that now. Was that in your mind?
Yeah. I mean, I showed it, so I gotta do it all the time now, Matt.
What did you guys, in terms of the defensive rebound, you guys gave up, I think, 18 offensive boards. What do you think's giving you trouble in that area?
Nothing really too much. We just got to be more focused on that. And some don't bounce the right way, but when you play in the Big 12, you can't afford the rebounds that we gave up.
What did you all think of the support from the KU fans who made the trip here?
It was huge. When we came out that last time to the crowd, it felt almost like a home game, and I think maybe that's why we played so good to start the game. We weren't truly on the road. I felt like it was a neutral site game. So I feel like, they had a big part in it because, like I said, it felt like a neutral site game. It didn't feel like a road game. So that might have been, the key. We might have to buy some extra tickets when we play at Houston.
Saturday, you guys really embraced the new season 1-0 thing. How much talk was there tonight about 2-0, and especially after you finished the job?
Yeah, same exact thing. Kind of just got to look forward and, like we said, have a new team. And to us and the whole team right now, we're 2-0 and trying to go for 3-0 and build on that.
Are you building confidence? Can you both answer that?
I think so. I think the dude with the most confidence right now is probably Diggy. He's really embraced that when you're open, shoot it mentality, and I think that's really helped us. Him and Rylan and Zeke, they're our 3 best shooters, and so they just got to keep shooting because it really just opens up stuff for me and KJ. I think it spreads the defense, and they are really good shooters, and teams are going to give them some open looks just because of the way we run our offense. So they got to keep shooting, and they've been making them so far, so it's good.
Yeah, I think we are building momentum. We all like each other off the court, so that helps a lot to kind of build on top of it. And I think once we just start clicking together on the court and start doing what we're capable of, I think we're going to be a really good team.
What did you see from Hunter tonight?
I mean, he's a beast. He's my All-American for the season. He played like it tonight, and I think he's going to keep building on that, and he's going to have a really, really good end of the season.
All right. Thanks, fellas.
Thanks, guys. Watch out.
All right, fire away.
Bill Hunter seemed to have a really big game on the road tonight. What did you think of him?
Yeah, I thought he was the best player in the game, obviously, and he was terrific. He got us off to a great start, he and KJ, and they killed us on the glass. If it weren't for Hunt, we would have been annihilated on the glass. And so, but he was great. He played like an All-American tonight.
Coach, what felt different about this Colorado team from when you played them in Lawrence?
To be honest with you, in Lawrence, it was kind of similar. We had control of the game, and then they came back and made it interesting. And tonight we had control of the game, and then obviously they came back and even took the lead. But I thought they, you know, I can't speak for Tad, but I thought they were a better team tonight than they were 2 weeks ago, and I think that's evidenced by, you know, their scores in the other games. I actually thought we were a better team tonight too than we were 2 weeks ago. We made the game hard on ourselves in a lot of ways tonight, but Colorado also had some missed opportunities too. So it was a good competitive game. We desperately needed it, so I'm proud of our guys because we did hang in there and fight after it got kind of hard.
Bill, 2-point game, 3 minutes and change left, and you've talked a lot about tougher team wins at that point. Did you think you guys were tougher down the stretch?
I think if I were to say that, that would be disrespectful, but I do think we executed better down the stretch. So, you know, we bailed them out a couple of times by fouling, and they made free throws, but the things that have been giving us problems in other games, we actually were a lot better tonight down the stretch.
The middle 8 minutes of the game kind of gave you guys trouble again. How was the team able to bounce back from that and not let it set the tone for the remainder of the second half?
The middle 8 minutes from the 4-minute mark to the 4-minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, approximately.
Yeah, well, you know, we actually should have gone up at halftime a minimum of 7. You know, we had Juan made a terrible play to give him the ball back, and then Z gets beat back door on a simple deal. So that cut it to 5. In the second half, to start the second half, we weren't awful. We started out 1 for 6 from the free throw line. And you know, you got to make free throws to stem the tide, and we didn't do that. So not to do a lot of things well that would be the type of plays that helps you maintain your lead. You know, I thought that was probably good for us to experience some success after kind of pissing it away and then going and getting it back.
How did you manage this late of a tip-off and kind of the challenges associated with that?
It wasn't that hard for me. I went for my walk right around 11 and then took my nap before pregame at 5. So I handled it fine. It wasn't that big a deal.
Bill, so much, when you got Hunter, so much talk about how he was a perfect fit for you and your offense in Kansas. Did you think when you got him, he would be a guy that could carry you with 30-point nights and things like that, like he did tonight?
I actually thought he would do it multiple times a year. And he's been inconsistent in doing it like that, but we've also been inconsistent on helping him. You know, it's hard. It's hard when you have a hard time spacing the floor and doing some different things when you have your best players in the game. But tonight he scored a variety of ways. I mean, he was a power player and a finesse player tonight.
Coach, how big is this win for building confidence down the stretch, and where do you think the confidence compares after the Utah road trip?
Well, it's actually much higher than the Utah road trip, you know. But you know, 10's obviously a bigger number than 1 too. So it didn't take much to be much higher. So I think it'll do wonders for us. You know, we're 2-0. Our season started against Oklahoma State because all we could do, we screwed up the conference season. All we can do was finish the conference season strong to prepare us for postseason. So we're 2-0 right now. That's how we're looking at it. We're undefeated. So I think we're a little bit more confident, I think.
What did you think of the dunks by Dak?
I actually thought they were very impressive. So that last one was big time. The offensive putback, that was, and the lob was too, but that last one was big time play.
Your guys have really embraced that new season 2-0, 1-0 thing. Why do you think that is? Why did they grab onto that so much?
I think we were searching for anything to grab onto. We needed something good to happen, and that was the one thing that actually made sense to them. So at least in my opinion.
All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Hey everybody, we've got players, Ben got Dak, Julian Hammond III, Coach Ted Boyle. We'll go ahead and have Coach start with an opening statement. We'll open it up to questions from the players so they can be dismissed, and we'll continue with Coach. Coach, go ahead, please.
Yeah, look, our guys battled tonight. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you don't out-rebound KU by 15 if you don't come to battle, and that was one of the keys of the game. But, you know, we got to do more than just one thing well on any given night, and that's kind of been the story of our year. You know, against Baylor we guarded, didn't rebound very well. Got to the free throw line tonight. We rebounded well, didn't guard very well, didn't get to the free throw line. You know, KU beats us by 9 there, and Hunter Dickinson's a beast down there. He's a good player, and didn't think we handled him very well. But you know, our guys battled, and they played hard, and I don't fault our effort. I don't fault our toughness. We just have to be more consistent in various parts of the game, not just one on any given night. And right now we're, you know, when we come up a little bit short, we've usually done one thing pretty well. Tonight we rebounded the ball well, but we don't do 2 or 3 or 4 things well, which is what you have to do to beat a team like KU, because our margin for error, you know, is very, very small. And, you know, we get 24, I thought, open looks from 3. I didn't think we had too many bad looks. They were open looks, but, you know, 5 for 24 is it's going to be hard to beat a team. And you know, we missed, what, 40-some shots, so we should have 18 offensive rebounds. You know, so but our guys' efforts there, we just gotta regroup, and we got 3 games left. We haven't won on the road yet. That's a challenge I laid to our guys in the locker room, and we got 2 opportunities for that, and then we got, you know, 5 seniors for senior night. So coming down the stretch here, and this team is not giving up. They are continuing to battle, and I got great respect for not just Julian and Bangat that are here with me right now, but for all the guys in that locker room. They've not given up, and they've not given up on each other, and that's a testament to their character.
Okay, questions for the players?
Ben, a performance like this against a team like Kansas, what does this mean for you, and what was the moment like in the game?
I mean, I think it just means I could play out there, you know, with people like that and against a team like that. And I think it just means that, you know, just going out there and competing, that you could prove what you can do out there, you can play out there. So it's just what I try to go do.
Being up for you, we just talked to Coach Shelf, and he said that you had a lot of impressive dunks tonight. What went into your aggression in the paint and some of those putbacks and some of those looks you had there?
My coach just tells me to put a lot of pressure on the rim because I know I'm a good rim threat. So I was trying to do that a lot tonight. And then we also put an emphasis on offensive rebounding, so try to go do that too. Yeah.
Dang it, obviously it's a tough matchup against Hunter, but just kind of what's the mentality going into the game, and how do you keep your focus when he's kind of getting in a rhythm there early?
You know, it's hard because he's an All-American player. He's 7'2", so just trying to go out there and battle him and push him out of spots is kind of hard because he knows where to get and knows where to get touches. And, yeah, I just try to think next play with him, but it's kind of hard, you know, to just get him out the paint. But,
Julian, only one more home game, but what was it like tonight seeing this event center so packed and so loud?
You know, it was cool because we haven't really had that this year as much. But, you know, it's nice to see a lot of people come out here and, you know, have a good environment at home because, you know, all the places that we put on the road always have good environments and stuff like that. So it was cool.
Question for either of you. The energy was at very high points at certain points of this game. How do you feel like you guys built on that well, and then what are some things you could do to maintain it better through the full course of the game?
I just think you know, obviously we go on runs, it gets loud and stuff, and you know they're also a good team, so they're gonna score and they're gonna go on their runs, but when they do, we can't let them go on 6, 8 point runs. That just be 4 points, you know. So we don't let. So it's not a game of runs. They're up, we're up, they're up, we're up, you know. And we kept on, you know, getting close within 2 or within 4, then they would stretch it back to 9 or 10.
Julian, Kansas came into this game with the top defensive 3-point, defensive field goal percentage in the league. Tad just said he thought you guys had some good looks tonight, but this is 2 games where you guys have struggled to knock down shots against Kansas. What do they do on the perimeter defensively to kind of make things tough for you guys?
Like you said, they do a good job against everybody. But tonight I really didn't think it was them. I really thought it was us. We were just missing. We had a lot of good looks, a lot of good shooters, had good shots, and they just didn't go down.
Anything else for the players? Okay, go ahead. Thanks, guys. You guys are dismissed. We'll continue with Coach.
Ted, with Dickinson, it felt like every time you guys were getting close, tying it, even briefly taking the lead in the second half, he was there to respond quickly with a bucket. I mean, just what about his game makes him so difficult for you guys in particular to guard?
Well, the thing that makes him so difficult is, obviously you've got his size, not only just his height, but, his weight, but his understanding of where to position his body. And then, you're not going to move him. So you got to beat him to the spot. And if you don't beat him to the spot, you're in trouble. Our game plan tonight with him was when the ball was above the foul line extended, we wanted to be 3/4. And if the ball came in, it had to come in on a lob. And then you got to move your feet because you're not going to win a wrestling contest with that dude, okay? You got to move your feet to get behind him and make him score over you. So, Bangot's 6'11", and he can block shots. Elijah's 6'11", and he's got some beef to him that maybe Bangot doesn't have. Those were the two guys that had him most of the night. And then you got to have help from your guards when you're playing behind him. And the problem we had, and it happened at KU as well, they run an overload play, and it's a good play, and they burned us on it, at their place, I think 3 or 4 times tonight. They got it 2 or 3 as well. But on that play, if you're on 3/4 and that lob comes in and you go high side, he's going to catch the ball and he's going to finish because he keeps it high. He's got great hands. He's a good finisher. And so we didn't execute the game plan on that. Now, if the ball goes to the corner, we got to front him and not let it come in. And then they're going to flash the opposite big, and then they're going to go high-low, and now you got to move your feet and play smart. I mean, look, post defense is not for pussies. It's for men. Like you got to be a grown man to play post defense in Hunter Dickinson, and you got to do it with your brain and your feet. And we didn't play very good with our brain in our post defense, and our footwork wasn't good enough. And his is, and like Bangot said, that's he's an All-American. I mean, that's a tough matchup for BD. He's giving away a lot of, so he's got to have a brain and a feet, and he's young. He hadn't played against a guy like that. Now he has. And what makes Bangot to me so intriguing as a player is the fact that I would think he's going to be able to guard 5 positions before he leaves here. But he's not there yet. So he's got to keep learning and improving, and I believe he will.
Coach, Elijah Malone seems to have been more active, not just
Yeah.
tonight, but the last few games, maybe coming out of a mid-season lull. What was
Yeah.
maybe the message to him, especially on the glass? He's been a lot more active. What's
He
been
has.
the message or the directive to him to kind of get him going there?
Yeah, he's. I think Elijah's starting to figure it out. Again, this is a new level for him, and it's taken him a while to figure it out. Like he's made 3 plays now defensively: 1 against Iowa State, 1 against Baylor, 1 tonight against Kansas, that he wouldn't have made defensive plays that he wouldn't have made at all, even 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago when we played Kansas, he didn't make those plays. And so he's starting to figure it out as a ball screen defender, and getting better there. He's a good low post scorer. Now he had trouble tonight with Dickinson. He's a big body, and Elijah's got to understand when does he need to use his strength and his muscle, and when does he need to use his skill. And when Hunter Dickinson's guarding, you got to use your skill, and he did a great job of that in Lawrence. Tonight he didn't do as good a job, but I thought his activity level, his effort level is getting better. There's no doubt about it, and his rebounding's getting better.
Ted, there's the old adage, you win or you learn. What did you learn tonight, and maybe what have you learned from the last 10 weeks of the ups and downs?
Sean, I think you learn every time you step on the floor. I think you learn in practice. I think, or you don't learn. There's a flip side of that. You don't learn just because you play. You learn by being attentive, concentrating, listening, seeing, watching film. You know, you can learn from Hunter Dickinson as a post player on our team. You can learn from KJ Adams and how hard he rolls to the rim, you know. So you can learn a lot, and you can learn from wins. You know, the other night against Baylor, we didn't play very well down the stretch. We still won a game, but we got to learn from the mistakes we made down the stretch in that game. Tonight we got to learn, you know, that, you know, you play KU and your margin for error is small, so like you got to make them earn every shot, and we gave them a lot of easy ones, and we didn't execute our defensive game plan well enough. So you learn every time you step on the floor, whether it's in practice, whether it's in a game, whether you win, whether you lose. It's not like you learn more from losses than you do wins. It's just more frustrating, and we've had a lot of frustration this year.
Ted, you mentioned the highs that Bangott shows in a lot of
Yeah.
the games. Then there's the fouling a three-point shooter,
Yep.
and then some of the maybe silly turnovers. I mean, how does he? Obviously, he didn't play a ton last year, so it's still kind of like another freshman season for him. How does he get to being the level that Hunter Dickinson has if he's got that capability?
Yeah, I think I talked to Bangott. I pulled him aside at practice yesterday, and I said, you know, the biggest thing you've got to understand is to be an effective player at this level, you've got to be consistent, and you want to be consistently good. And right now you're doing some really, really good things on offense and on defense, but you're not consistent in either one of those. And so for you to become the player you want to become, you got to be consistent. And I agree with you, Tyler. I've looked at this like his freshman year. I'm so mad at myself for not making Bangott redshirt last year rather than asking him. And he didn't want to, and he didn't. And it's unfortunate because he'd have another year of college in the back end that he's not going to have, and I think he's going to regret that, and I'm going to regret it for him. So, but with that being said, you just got to keep getting better. You know, the worst thing you want to hear as a player is, "Oh, that guy's got potential." That means you're not getting it done now. It means you're going to be good tomorrow, but you ain't very good today. And I think Bangott does have potential, but he's done some good things for us this year. He's just got to be more consistent, and he knows that. And it gets back to Sean's point. He's got to learn, and the quicker he learns, the better he'll become a great, great player. If it takes him a while, it may take him till he's a senior. I don't know. Everybody learns at different rates.
Ted, you don't play again until Sunday.
Yeah.
This is kind of the closest to the Pac-12 one-game week
Yeah.
that you're having in the Big 12 schedule. But how do you handle that this week? You get a little extra rest in? What's kind of the plan?
You know, I fight myself because we need, you know, I think mentally our kids probably need a little bit of a break. But you go 5 for 24 from 3, it's hard to say, okay, let's take 2 days off. You know, I'm not saying we have to grind them in practice. I mean, we're going to take tomorrow off for sure. You got to take 1 day off a week per NCAA rules. But, like, you know, we got to make shots. And the only way you make shots is you get reps in the gym. And, you know, it's just like the only way you get bigger and stronger is you get in the weight room and you eat right, you know. So we got to get better. And we've got a very, very short period of time. So I don't know the answer to that right now. I know we're going to take tomorrow off, and then Wednesday I'll see. And I'm not going to grind them, you know, with practice. I know that. But you know, ideally I'd love to give them 2 days off, and I might end up doing that. But I haven't made that decision yet. So, but I do know whatever we do, we got to make sure on Sunday in Manhattan, Kansas, we are emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually ready to go and try to get a road win that we've not been able to get this year. So we got 2 opportunities. The first one's Sunday in Manhattan. So.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Yeah.